One of my subscribers, Bandele, sorry if I didn't say your name right, but he said, "Yo, Caps, you got dude deleting whole lives." He just deleted a whole live on a second interview with Conte, so nobody can see it. Dude is strange. And I say, yes, I watched the whole thing, went back and it was gone. But he chopped it up and he'll replay it. That's what I told him. I said, mostly he was going to chop it up and replay it, because it was a long interview. I don't see why he won't replay it. It's education purpose only. I take notes, but of what he said, I knew already. Like what Victor Conte said, I knew already. Some things I was wrong about, like one or two things, but that's the reasons it's called education purposes. But I still can do a video on what Victor said and plus show proof I said it in the past video clips of what I said compared to what I said plus more, which is perfect for me. And then Vandalay, he responded and said, yeah, he's like using other content creators' material against him, but has a problem when you do the same to him, talking about asking his permission and taking down the video. Did you take it down yet, Caps? You know he's going to call the YouTube police on you and file a report. And I respond, exactly. Wow. Wow.
What the blows and skirts is going on over here? Somebody wanna call the police on me. Tell them just in case I have emergency. Oh man, Marty, you wanna call the police on me, man? You wanna call the YouTube police on me? You know what? I'll get back to you, Marty, and the little drama that we got. But for now, this is about education purposes only. Fair use. This is education purposes only. So, Mr. Marty, big up to your second interview with Victor Conte. And I always get props because no matter what, how you got it or whatever, how you had to deal with it or how you had to get his attention, right? Like you got Blue Blood attention, how you got Coach Malachi attention. You want him to come on your show for good promotion. How you got Victor Conte. Regardless how you got it, you got it. Right? How you get it, you got it. So now we're going to talk about Victor Conte. You did a good interview with him, right? And yeah, I did. If you see one of my videos, at the end of my video, right? Because you're trying to make... Anyway, I'll get back to that on another video. This is about education purposes only. So let's break down to the very last compound and let's see how it sounds, if it's going to sound unrational, right? Right? So we're going to see this and see if it's rational or unrational reasoning, right? And we're going to go through this. And then I'll get back to you, Marty, man. With you trying to call the police on me, man. Yeah, trying to call the YouTube police on me. And I'll explain to my subscribers what that whole little passage was between me and the subscriber. Thank you for following me, bro. I appreciate it, man. Good brother, man. So let's move on and let's do the science. And let's see if I had this interview, how this interview would go, right? Because I have a lot more to ask Victor Conte, not to prosecute him, right? But I love bro science and I love what he's talking about. And I do get things wrong and I also get things right. And I'm going to show you that in this video, right? Let's move on. Let's go to the next first topic.
I do not recommend, and it is prohibited by all the anti-doping agencies, IV.
So Victor Conte said it's prohibited, right? WADA, VADA, and USADA, right? This is what he said. And I give you the definition of what prohibited means, just in case the Wakandas think the opposite, right? And now I'm going to show you what Captain Fool said a couple of days ago, or a week ago. And I'm going to show you the date, and you'll see the mark stamp date or whatever, right? And this is what Conte said yesterday. So we're going to go from tit to tat with Captain Fool. Yeah. I'm not doing it with Marty. I'm doing it with Captain Fool on education purposes with what Victor said. Because Victor would say to Marty, listen, this is education purposes. I want the whole world to hear SNAC and what it represents. So now I'm doing what I'm doing to understand what Victor is showing me. I'm trying to let you understand if I have listening comprehension. Follow me. I know one thing that all three have in common, water, vitamin, USADA. You cannot inject intramuscular, intravenous, or subcutaneous while you in or out of competition. Okay? That's one thing I know that all three have. They might have different rules, whatever, but that is what it is. Intravenous, intramuscular, or subcutaneous. You can't do that. So when they say intravenous, that means you can't put in your vein and take saline, minerals, and vitamins, right? Because what is that called? A masking agent. So let's get straight into it. Let's do another example, because there ain't going to be no fluff talk. I'm getting straight to the point. Now, Victor said that the reason why Crawford won is because he's a great fighter. It's not just because of SNAC. And then Manager Marty replied back saying, oh, no, Mr. Victor, I bet you wrong because SNAC products work. Now, I would assume that he's saying that no matter what, if you're a great or a poor performer in boxing, that SNAC would always work. I mean, that's the way Caps, right, is assuming it, because if you just tell a man that, no, I bet you're wrong, SNAC products work all the time. Well, let's roll the tape, and then I'm going to show you after what Victor Conte say, what Caps and Fool said, maybe I think a week ago, right? But remember, Victor said this yesterday. Follow me.
Let me also chime in and say that the reason Terrence Crawford won that fight was not because of SNAC. Okay.
Oh, I would have to disagree with you, Vic. I would have to disagree with you. Now, I know Spence wasn't 100%, but we can't deny the product. We cannot deny the SNAC program works. It works. We can't deny it.
Let me say this as well. To help these fighters in every way that I can. So that's what I do. And if they win, they win. And if they lose, they lose. And you can say, oh, well, look what happened. He looked so great. And he knocked out this guy, Amvanasian, or however you pronounce his name. Then on the other hand, you say, but look at Demetrius. He got knocked out in the 6th round. So, you win some, you lose some. But each and every case, I do my best to help them to have the best performance that they can.
Because, SNAC works all the time, 100%. Even Boo Boo Andre that lost, he was on SNAC. Remember, I was the one that bet him to beat David Benavidez and he lost? But he was on SNAC. No fluff talk. So what I just said was 3 days ago. And Victor Conte said that about Bube Andre, Demetrius Andre, yesterday. But I said that 3 days ago. But you know what? Capsule Fool, let's take this a little bit further back. I'm listening to Victor Conte. Yo, Caps, no fluff talk. Run the track.
Can vouch for this. She did it in a fight where he was training Casimero and who was going to fight Nonito. And when they signed up and Rachel paid the fees, then when it came time to sign the enrollment forms, Memo drags his heels, I believe, so the drugs can clear.
So that example that Victor Conte is given is about Nonito Donaire fighting Casimir. And if you can remember, Nonito was the WBA champion, right? That's with Maurice Suleiman. He's the president of, WBC, and he also has the world, with that program of boxing, the clean boxing, you know what I'm saying? So there was some discrepancy. But I want to show you what Cap said, not 3 days ago, not 6 days ago, not 2 weeks ago, but a year ago. Yeah, we're going to run the track a year ago of this example that Victor Conte is talking about. Because he was talking about Memo and Angel or whatever about the drug test, and then he was going to go into Boo Boo and David Benavidez and how they dragged their feet to fill out the form about 2 days. And he said he believed this is just some speculation. This is just allegations. This is just what he believes. That doesn't mean it's a fact, right? So he's doing the same thing with Nonito Donaire and Casimir. And they were saying back then it was all smoke and mirrors when Casimir and Gibbons was calling Nonito Donaire's wife all kinds of names. And it was just smoke and mirrors, because, Nonito's wife is the manager. She's a Taekwondo champion. She fights and she does all the above. Great woman, right? So this is what the smoke and mirrors was. But what was really was going on, well, let Capsule show you what I was talking about a year ago, and only got probably like 200-300 views, right? But I'm up on this. Yeah, come on. Straight to this email. And what is this email about, right? So let's just ask some TGP a request. I emailed Sean Gibbons the whereabouts and application form that needed to be completed. I'm just going down, I'm taking my time, you know what I'm saying? I'm not new to this. So 6/25/21/102, same day, a little bit later on, I received the whereabouts form sent from TGB, right? 6/26/21, 1:03 p.m. Received our application forms from TGB, okay? Note, here comes, 6/25/21 at 5:54 p.m. Mauricio Suleiman sent me only Mr. Casimir whereabouts on what? WhatsApp. I advised we needed the form emailed to me, but also required the application form, as without the application form, we cannot enter the athletes in Nevada and begin testing. Okay? So now, regards Nonito Donaire, 6/22 at 12:31 p.m. We received Nonito's VADA application and whereabouts form. That was very easy, brother. And VADA made the Twitter announcing on 6/26 and sent out the acceptance info on 6/27/2021. Okay, per the request of TGB. However, let me see if I can move it up a little bit more. However, as there appears to be no bout schedule at this time, I'm sending out an email to all parties that testing has been suspended unless we are otherwise notified on either camp wishes to continue with tester eligibility. Okay? Kind regards, Margaret Goodman, MD, VADA, President. Okay? So that's the email. And it's on the SNAC Nutrition. Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, on July 19, news broke out that the highly anticipated all Filipinos. This ain't black. This ain't a white thing. This is no injustice between one person because one is darker and one is whiter and all this shit. This is two Filipino bantamweight unification battle between a WBC. This is what I love right here. I could get anybody on that want to argue with me. WBC champion Nonito Donaire. Now he's the WBC champion, and WBO belt holder Casimir was set to take place in Carson, California on August 14 on Showtime. Now remember, this is what it looks like in the beginning when you look. This WBC Clean Program, a shield. Is it a shield? That's the title. So now we know Nonito Donaire is a WBC, and we know it is a WBC Clean Boxing Program co-contract. But this is the situation here. Let me a week later, the pairing had imploded after a week-long and very public back and forth played out social media between Rachel Donaire, the wife and manager of Filipino Flash, and Sean Gibbons, who represented Casimir. On the morning of July 26th, the Donairs had told organization of the event that we are walking away from the fight. The battle centered around the drug testing, specifically the enrollment in VADA, Voluntary Anti-Doping Association program, which was provide a comprehensive drug testing protocol leading up to the contest. It has to be started that the Donairs irradiated. I'm sorry, I can't say the word. When you read it, you'll find it. It's not getting this into a contract beforehand. This was a glaring omission in the fight contract. But the pugilistic Ms. Donaire kept setting deadlines for Casimir to sign up for VADA. And this is what came back. They were told constantly by Gibbons that they were already under the WBC Clean Boxing Program administrated to VADA. So, Rachel's talking about, I want you to enroll in VADA. And they're saying, Gibbons is saying, I'm already enrolled in VADA by the Clean Boxing as well. So it's so funny, Donaire, that is a WBC, is telling them that you're not enrolled, right? So right here, it says, while Donaire will point out, I can't say the word, sorry, exhibit by the opposing camp as a reason for canceling this bout, the lack of transparency in regards to drug testing was the central reason this fight was called off. They could have brushed off the tasteless insults as long as they felt sure that they was having a level playing field. You hear that? They could have brushed off the tasteless insults as long as they could just feel secure that they was on the same level playing field. You know what this playing field I'm asking for everybody to push? It's for Errol Spence and Crawford to be on, right? Okay, so Donaire is a pioneer of sorts in this given that he was the first boxer years ago to actually sign up for year-round full VADA drug testing. Here, all we was asking for was about 7 weeks. Wow, not even 8 weeks, 7 weeks. As Casimir and their team dragged their feet, Donaire decided to make a stand by walking away. Okay, as you can see, even though they are Gibbons and Casimir and Gibbons and Manny Pacquiao was under the Clean Boxing Program. But let's just talk about Casimir as we talk now. Donaire wasn't having it. He says, I want the real VADA. Okay, and at the end of the day, Casimir whereabouts phone was all over the place. They couldn't figure this out. You got Maurice Suleiman sending things on WhatsApp, and Miss Goodman is like, "Can you send me an email? I don't need to see it. What's that? You know, all kind of foolishness." All right, let me get back to what I was saying. No fluff. Next topic. Victor Conte talking about Manny Pacquiao and the 3-fight deal that he had with PBC, and VADA administrating and commission athletic. It kind of comes down to the same thing with Nonito and Kashmir, because at the time now we got Sean Gibbons with Manny Pacquiao and Kashmir. We got Sean Gibbons, right? And this is what Victor Conte was saying, right, when it comes down to Manny Pacquiao. And I'm going to give you my explanation with this right here.
And there were 3 fights, okay, and I've said this publicly before, this isn't anything new, that I have criticized VADA enormously and publicly about. And these were the last 3 fights of Manny Pacquiao. And instead of doing the VADA protocol, where they test all prohibited substances at all times, Al Heyman, in conjunction with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, got the commission to order the WADA protocol, which means that during training camp, they didn't test for 84 substances. So when Earl was going to fight Pacquiao before he had the eye injury and Ugas came in, that testing he was doing was not, quote, this is where the full VADA came in, is the 3 times that VADA did the testing for the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and they've done it a couple times for the California State Athletic Commission, where they used the weaker, Manny Pacquiao used the weaker, like he said in that video, hearing comprehension. He said stop using VADA, using the complete panel to test all compounds, right? They use WADA, which restricted certain compounds that could be tested, like certain stimulants, blah, 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 out of competition, in competition, post, blah, blah, blah. And this is where the conflict comes in with the California, New York, Nevada Athletic Commission and who's administrating it. But this is what I was showing you about this situation a year ago. Not 3 days, not 6 days, but a year ago. And how I try to put the puzzle together. So let's get into this, and let's listen to Michael Montero, and let's listen to Sean Gibbons, and let's see how things add up with words. And also what Victor Conte said. Come on.
Wouldn't that sort of lead us to believe he's like been the most drug-tested fighter of all time?
I would think so, because again, let alone fighting 24 world titles is unheard of in this game. I believe Hopkins did around 20, Triple G did around 20. Maybe there's some guys, Klitschko was up there with quite a few defenses. But yeah, he ranks in the top of fighters that have ever been drug tested. And the whole hysterical thing with drug testing started years ago with Floyd Mayweather Sr. accusing, with no basis at all, he got sued by Manny Pacquiao. He had to pay a confidential settlement to Manny Pacquiao for all of his nonsense about Manny being on something, Manny testing or something, and that's kind of where it started. And like I said, and then this Margaret thing just really fueled a fire in this day and age of social media, like something was going on. Because the moment someone does an article, nobody checks the facts anymore. They believe the Twitter, they believe the initial headline. There's no VADA testing, which was absurd. Because again, any way you look at it, VADA was involved. But if someone's ego, someone's not getting paid, they do it a different way. What was her purpose, first of all? To bring out a statement that VADA is not testing, which it's a gray area, because they are, but they aren't. Nevada hires them, pays them. The guy that showed up was 100%, I'm here for VADA. This is VADA testing. I have all the paperwork. I sat in the room when Manny was tested on numerous occasions. I filled everything out, all the vitamins. A guy announced again, VADA. So for her to, like I said, the moment she put that out, it just created a hysteria around the fight that took away from it a little bit. We all had to play catch up. We all had to, the Nevada Commission had to come out with a statement. We had to come out with a statement. Everybody, all because, for whatever reason, and if you ever get a chance, you should ask her, why did you have to go on record? What was the reason? Is it your ego? Why? There was nothing, because if she doesn't come up with that, Nevada goes on with their testing, and if anybody asks us for drug testing, we answer correctly. We answer with the truth. Yes, we were tested by Nevada, which used the services of VADA. So again, I'm not sure what Margaret's end game was,
Was she really trying to really trying to hurt, the whole fight and Manny again, who's always been in that program?
That's right now, because WADA, taking into consideration contaminated meat and stuff like that, changed the thresholds of allowable thresholds of clenbuterol in the system. So WADA follows that, right? But they test for the full panel. State commission testing, a couple dozen things. So it doesn't matter who's administering the testing. What matters is what's being tested.
So you hear what he said. It doesn't matter who is administrating. It's what's being tested, what substances, how many substances. So now if you go back to what Victor Conte said yesterday, he said the problem was WADA tests for this much, where VADA tests for a whole lot much, and use an isotope test for testosterone and epitestosterone. They have a full panel, where WADA has a minimized panel. The State Athletic Commission has a less than what WADA and VADA have. But I always try to make you remember this here, that I always say. Now watch this. This is from VADA. Fighters, not every PED testing panel is the same. Not every lab is the same. Not every doping control company has the same experience. Ask questions. Unspecified drug testing in a contract does not mean the best and most thorough. You hear that again? Ask question. Unspecified drug testing in a contract doesn't mean the best and most thorough. So I'm saying to myself, testing in a contract. Who is in a contract? Clean Boxing Program is in a contract with VADA. Get it together, right? My mind moves fast sometimes. So when I hear that Manny Pacquiao was with the Clean Boxing Program for 3 fights, and one of the fights VADA tested with Thurman, and there was no issues, there was no static, there was no beef. But then when it was time to fight Broner, things got changed, and things got rearranged, and it was some static between Givens and Margaret Goodman, right? And why did the test change? Now, this is in a contract. So when I hear Victor Conte yesterday say, well, it was an issue with Manny Pacquiao in his last 3 fights with the PBC, I'm like, okay, well, he's saying, well, is it Manny Pacquiao fault, or is it the if it's the Clean Boxing Program, right? WBC, Maurice Suleiman. Is it therefore that in the state commission, right, in a contract, if they using WADA instead of using VADA, whole panel of substance to be tested, and in the contract, they decide to change it to WADA, well, you can't blame Manny Pacquiao for that, because we all know Manny Pacquiao been tested numerous of times without being used Clean Boxing Program. Right? This is the 3 fights we're talking about. But what about all the other times he's been tested? If I recall, I think I saw VADA on the official, I see Manny Pacquiao on the official VADA site. On that VADA site, it said he's been tested 4 times. Now, I could say, since VADA administrate, in other words, just like Michael Montero said, and how Victor Conte said, and Sean Gibbons said, there's a gray area where, yeah, VADA administrated, right? But the testing will go to WADA. But what panel? Is it VADA panel that's testing all numerous amounts of substances, compounds, or is it WADA? Because they're going to use the lab, right? I'm learning. They're going to use the lab. But what do the contract pay for? All the substances, or WADA that has minimal substances? So, can I say that maybe the 3 fights out of that 4 was under Clean Boxing Program when they put it on VADA and said that he got tested 4 times? Should I say maybe 3 times? Because remember who administrates VADA, right? Or should I say, listen, these 4 times that Manny Pacquiao got tested had nothing to do with the Clean Boxing Program, or maybe 2, right? Or maybe 1 was from VADA, full VADA, and the other 3 was from Broner and was it Vargas, I think. I can't remember, right? So I don't know how to read that. See, that's the problem. We don't know how to read certain things when you say 4 fights with Manny Pacquiao. But he's been tested 4 times. basically. So that's between VADA doing the administration and not taking the blood and the urine and getting it from, and that's what I think that Margaret Goodman and the clean boxing program, but instead of getting it right with the contract, they want to blame the boxer. Where if you going to fight on this network, this promotion company, and they have different rules, but they're using VADA to administrate, it gets confusing to us. It does. So I'm learning, right? WADA does a certain amount of testing. VADA does a lot more than USADA and WADA. I just thought that WADA, this is what I thought, because I make mistakes, right? I thought WADA has protocols and laws that VADA and USADA go by. I didn't know that they have a certain testing panel. I'm gonna let you know what I know, and I'm gonna end this, right? What I thought I know, but I might be still wrong. I didn't know that in a contract you could just decide if it's WADA or VADA, but still have VADA administrate, and then that contract, you take the blood and urine, give it to WADA, yes, to test it because it's a accredited lab, right? But you're using WADA protocols of a limited amount of substance getting tested. So this shit is difficult and confusing. But I can understand why Margaret Goodman and Sean Givens, with Casimiro, Manny Pacquiao, and then come to say it, let's listen to what Michael Montero said about Mikey Garcia and what he should just suggest that he should do when he fights Errol Spence.
That's what's going on, all right? So there's a main channel. When Mikey Garcia fought Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia was working with SNAC and Victor Conte, and Victor said, hey, look, I used to be into this doping shit. I know how it's being done. Don't fight this dude without full VADA. So it was actually Mikey Garcia, through folks at SNAC pushing him to, who demanded the full VADA program for his fight with Errol Spence. So they did the full VADA program for that fight, right? And that's the fight you guys remember. It's in Dallas, went the distance. Hold on. Okay. Spence, to my knowledge, has not done the full VADA program since. He never did it before. In fact, when I interviewed him once for a piece I did for Boxing Monthly magazine, he said, I ain't paying for that shit. That's basically the way he responded to my question. If someone else wants to pay for it, I'll do it. That was his response, which a lot of fighters would say that, right? But Mikey Garcia demanded it for their fight. Right now, you have a situation with Pacquiao and Spence where neither guy is demanding the full VADA program. They're both cool with standard commission, state commission testing. It's all good. So the spinsters in the media and the YouTubers and all this kind of stuff are saying this is a VADA tested fight. It's not, guys. It's not the same thing. Okay? So when you hear me on my show talk about full VADA versus state commission testing, that's the difference. Okay? It doesn't matter who's administering the testing. It matters what the panel is. Are you testing for 30 banned substances or 150? That's the big difference. Because
you read between the lines, it's basically like this. If VADA do the administration and they do the testing, right? In other words, they are able to test for 150 substances in and out of competition and post or whatever. It's going to go to a accredited lab called WADA. Fine. Now, if WADA is in a contract with the clean boxing program and the clean boxing program decides to use VADA for administrating, means taking blood, taking urine, taking hair samples, taking whatever, right? Pubic hairs or whatever the fuck you want. Okay, I'm trying to do this right? And that contract decides to go to the athletic or go to WADA for a certain amount of substances to test. Well, that's in the contract, right? And I guess the fighters or the promoters got to agree, right? But they don't care. It is what it is, right? That's under a contract. So that's the problem when you're under a contract, but you're using a VADA to administrate, but you don't have, VADA's not having control of where those labs need to be tested. And if that's the confliction, well, that's the confliction. But at the end of the day, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to get tested. And if Manny Pacquiao got tested with Keith Thurman and everything was curry, and next thing you know, he gets tested different with Broner under the same clean boxing program, that means Margaret Goodman was upset with Manny Pacquiao agreeing to this, or Gibbons agreeing to this, or anything. And you see what he said about Errol Spence, and you see about Mikey, and Mikey had to do this, and Mikey had to do that, and I suggested you do this, and make sure VADA tests for all substances when it comes to Errol Spence and the clean boxing program and the WBC and whatever. It's very confusing. But listen, man, you know, I get things wrong and I get mistakes, but I try to get as close to possible to the correction and my assumption and my opinion, right? Not just take everything that Victor Conte say or this one say. You always got pieces to a puzzle that you gotta try to put together, and you're gonna get different conflicting whatever, right? But as a channel, you could have to admit. You gotta admit when you're wrong or you're right. And sometimes my mind, let me give you an example what I'm saying about making mistakes.
Times, I may misspeak on something. I may say something, and if I go back and I look, I've been involved in this for many, many years, and you're asking me what happened back here, and of course, you find tweets and stuff, and then when I came on your show that morning...
Well, can I say something?
No, Marty, you can't say nothing. I don't want to hear that fluff talk. I'm doing this and trying to minimize fluff talk, right? So he makes mistakes, I make mistakes, and I call myself an idiot sometimes, but something about my mind that I notice, and I notice this when I work out, right? So let's just do one more thing with Victor Conte and how he talks about working out, and running is like a no-no to him. But let's do the science, and I'm going to give you a reason why I make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes it's not that my mind is cloudy, it's that I like to do a lot of multitasking, and while I'm thinking on this mind or side of the mind is thinking other things at the same damn time, and sometimes I'm just like effed up with my words, and I will prove it to you. But let's listen to facts about working out and running, right? And how a boxer should get it together, right?
I don't know why this ever, I guess for endurance purposes and stamina, but where in boxing do you go for an hour, do you just do tempo? Where does that ever happen in a boxing bout? Boxing is speed and power. The training, Remy Korchemny, who's got a PhD in explosive power and speed development, says the type of training that we do is more like tennis training than it is what boxers normally do with this long distance, because it's forward, backward, side to side. And you're going this direction as quickly as you can, and then you see an opening to throw a punch and you go this direction. Or you see a punch coming and to avoid that, you go back this direction. So you're only going a step or two forward, backward, side to side. You never do this.
And I agree with that philosophy, all right? And I will show you this with Boxing Fit Talk. I said I was going to do. And when he's saying these things, it makes total sense, because when I'm on a treadmill or I'm on a step machine, I'm not a hamster, I'm not a gerbil, man, right? And I will show you that I multitask. And it's very hard that certain boxers, and me, sometimes I look at boxing, I'm like, damn, he can't do that off the back foot. Damn, he can't get off the angle and punch at the same time. Damn, it's like, and you see these things, but it's in the eye of the beholder, and it's also in the person that restricts themselves, that they can't fight off the back foot or they can't move off an angle, and they see it and they're not really seeing it. But for someone that could multitask and move their feet and their hands and have their mind coordination doing 3 times at the same time, and which I will show you in the future with Boxing Fit Talk. So now let's get into this now, because this is the ending right here, man. Manager Marty, good interview. And like I said, I gave you a super chat. Yes, I did. And I said that in my video before you try to use it in your video and say, what kind of people do that? Well, people don't have no feelings of emotions about anything. I'm not feeling negative about you got the interview with Victor Conte not once, but twice. Same thing with Coach Malachi. Same thing with the LDBC, like I said in my last video. I go to war with them, but I also send them super chats. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I get my ideas from the positive and also the negative. And you have to have this patience listening to people that aggravate you and irritate you. It is what it is. So now, and I'm not putting down anything. I'm not cutting anything out my videos, because I didn't disrespect you, bro. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. I never disrespect you. I never called out your name and other names. It's always Manager Marty. And even I got proof that you said, at least you was a man, and you came up on my channel. Yeah, I did. But I also know that you shouldn't be feeling emotion retarded, because as I know, you went on Blue Blood You put Blue Bullet on your videos. You went on Coach Malachi. You went put Coach Malachi on your videos talking about this and that and that. And me, you want to play choice with me, man? Right? You want to play choice with me and tell me that I need to drop this out of my video and I need to get on an email and ask permission? Yo, I just did a video of somebody that did a video about you saying that it was suspicious. I didn't say that. I got off his video. I didn't get off your video, right? Talking about how you said Victor Conte is, that Terrence Crawford is. Just look at the last video. And I put it there. But I got him off his video. I didn't get off your video. I don't hear you saying nothing. But you know what it is? You playing choice because I do this so I'm such crafty with this shit. I'm crafty with my tools, man. And I'm just seeing what step you're gonna go forward with. Are you gonna ignore me, or are you gonna inform the YouTube police? Man, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So if I say, Manager Marty, you say you're gonna call the YouTube police on me, and you didn't say that, but you giving these read between the lines, you need to email me, and if you don't take this out, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, right? And I would say to you, damn, you sound like you on bitch mode, Marty, right? And you would take that as you call me a bitch. See, that's, you can't help how people perceive it. They'll jump to conclusions. But you got to listen to what's in the atmosphere, what came out your mouth, not what you assume. Yeah, because I could call you, the difference is I could call you a bitch ass nigga, right? But if I say you moving like bitch mode, that did not say you're a bitch. It's just saying you moving like a bitch. If you're saying that I'm going to take this out, you need to take it out. If you don't, I'll take it. And what was it? You got to email me and get my permission, blah, 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 and all this shit. Well, I'm letting you know you moving bitch mode. You're moving in a bitch mode. Not to say that you're a bitch, but hey, I can't help it if your perception is that you see me calling you a bitch, right? Because you feel like my words are slick. Yeah, that's what it is. My words are slick. And listen, man, when it comes, I'm not doing this video about you, man. But right now, Victor Conte, I see it like this. I know a lot of convicted felonies. You also know a lot of convicted felonies. We know brothers that gone down. They come out. They try to reinvent themselves. They want to be an outstanding citizen. But the life, they don't want to give you a second chance because, once a cheat or once a felon, you always a felony. So you can only get restricted to certain jobs out here, and you're doing a 9-to-5 job, but it ain't enough to pay the rent. So you have to still go back and hustle, not grind, but hustle, right? Because that's what you know to do, but you still need a job and blah, 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 and this and that. Well, hey, I don't believe in third chances. I believe in second chances, right? First, you messed up. Second, you get a second. The third, I'm a fool, right? So at the end of the day, if you're a convicted felony, right, and you watching this, and you saying, nah, I don't trust that nigga, I still think that he's doing what he's doing. Okay, fine. Well, guess what? That's how society sees you. So that means you belong in the part where you belong, and you should complain and bitch. Because if you could crucify another person and don't give them a second chance, and you see society crucifying you, well, that means you belong where you belong. The same feelings you got for another man, not believing in him and giving him a second chance, well, that means you belong where you belong, and society should feel the same for you, and you shouldn't cry, bitch, and moan Wakandas. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here for you to read between the lines. It's not what they say, it's what they're not saying. And besides me not trying to change your mind, I'm also here to irritate your mind. To the next one. Best believe.